Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Star Wars Wednesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the 2024 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Star Wars The Black Series, Darth Maul and Sith Speeder. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging. And here we have Star Wars Episode 1. And for those of you who were around for the merchandising in 99 and later, especially anything really to do with Episode 1, was really there. Darth Maul and Sith Speeder. I mean, even this is very, very reminiscent of all that. And then here on the front, 25th anniversary of Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, Hasbro assortment number, I'm guessing. Nice, huge window showcasing the figured vehicle and accessories. And then again, this was the Episode 1 merchandising logo all over stuff in 99. And again, this is reminiscent of how they labeled the stuff as well. Darth Maul and Sith Speeder. 4 and up. Warning! Don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. On the bottom, Star Wars Episode 1, Darth Maul and Sith Speeder. 6-inch scale articulated figure. Entertainment-inspired vehicle design. So, it might be close, but no cigar. Is that what they're saying? Again, Hasbro and a scene from the movie with Darth Maul on the bike. On this side, that same picture of Darth Maul and Sith Speeder. And the same information right here. A little sliver of a window. On the back side here, same picture. Star Wars Episode 1, Darth Maul and Sith Speeder. Same information and Hasbro print. And then finally on the back, a different picture from Episode 1. Star Wars The Black Series, Darth Maul and Sith Speeder. And here's what it says. A deadly, agile Sith Lord, sinister Darth Maul, is a formidable warrior and scheming mastermind. He wields an intimidating double-bladed lightsaber and the power of the dark side. Ordered by Darth Sidious to destroy Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, the deadly Darth Maul uses his crescent-shaped repulsor lift vehicle, the Sith Speeder, to carry out his mission on Tatooine. And then under the picture it says the Sith Speeder does not use weapons, shields, or sensors. Instead, it achieves Hawk-like speed and incredible maneuverability. With its potent repulsor lift engine, this one-person craft is Maul's preferred mode of transportation. Includes figure, vehicle, and 6 accessories. Barcode, recycle it, small fine, legalese made in China print, and double it. There's a number imprinted on there. Disney print, Hasbro print, and that, my friends, is a look at this throwback packaging. Let's take a look at the figure, the accessories, and the vehicle. So let's start with, we'll go ahead and start with the accessories, okay? So here we have Darth Maul's binoculars, trinoculars. I know there's a specific Star Wars name for these, but I cannot think of the name of it right now. So it looks like it's got a little post on there to where it'll hook to a belt or something. We'll see. It's got a couple of paint apps. It looks like the whole thing is covered in a paint app, but it could just be a glossy finish. Looks like there's a color difference right here on the sides. And overall, I just have to say, it's a nice looking mold. I like it. And then here we have his little wrist doodad that he controls his probe droids with. Molded ends like silvery plastic, gray plastic, silver gray plastic. And then next up we have his lightsaber, which does, you know, it does split. And start with this side. Nice translucent red blade. And I want to say it's removable. But maybe not. It's not wanting to come out. Let me try this off screen. Alright, so it will remove. I don't know that I recommend doing it. You can see it's a very thin peg there, so I don't really recommend removing or inserting the blade a lot. As far as for the handle itself, about what we'd expect for Darth Maul's lightsaber. Got a couple of paint apps on it for these buttons. Post here at the bottom where it connects with the other half. And we'll go ahead and see if I can put this back in here off screen. Okay, so I did get it back in there. I did almost break it off. It looks a little bent here still. But I will tell you this. If you're going to reinsert these blades and remove them, I don't know about removing them, but for reinserting them, I do recommend just a slight bit of heat on the lightsaber hilt. Now, as far as the other end goes, it's pretty much, you know, pretty much like the other side. It does have a post here to where it will probably hook to a belt piece or a belt piece somewhere, and some paint apps for the buttons. So that's about it for the lightsaber. And it does, you know, there's a port and a post, and it does go a specific way. The post is shaped and the port is shaped a specific way. So, and there is the entirety of his double-bladed lightsaber. And let's see, here is the probe droid, and it looks like it's molded all in this not quite black plastic. It's mostly black. Maybe there's a little gray in there as well, just to lighten it up a bit. But it does have a lot of nice molded details in it. And it's a very nice looking piece. You can see on the bottom there's a port. There's a nice little antenna, and it's pretty flexible. And there I go bumping the camera again. Because what's a Digital Caveman Presents review without some camera bumping? The stand for the probe droid is just a clear piece of plastic with a small base at the bottom, and it tapers up to the top. And it doesn't come to a point. It has a ball, and you just insert the ball into the port of the probe droid. Nice satisfying snap there. And once you have it on there, it will tilt forward and back all around. I mean, it just goes all around because it's on that ball joint. So that's pretty neat. Now let's get to his speeder bike. Or is it the blood pin? I'm not sure. I always called it what the episode 1 toys called it, which was the Sith speeder. And I think that's what they call it here. The stand is removable, but there's really no point once you get it in to remove it, unless, you know, you're going to hang it maybe with some fishing line or something. Other than that, there's no reason for this base to come out. It is on a ball joint, so it tilts forward and back and left and right, and it'll spin around. So there is all that. It does have some nice paint apps on it. It looks like for the most part it's molded maybe in this color, and then it's got some paint apps on here, and it's got some wash or maybe some dry brush. It looks more like a wash than a dry brush, but multiple paint apps. Right here on the display readout there looks to be, I don't think it's a tampo, it looks more like a sticker. So sticker here and here, and probably these two down here as well. And The handlebars are adjustable up and down, and they do twist a little bit, but I don't think I do that too much. And then this piece, the seat piece here, looks like maybe a separate piece glued in. At least this piece from here to here looks that way, but other of it maybe this is a separate piece too. It feels like it's a different. This is a very hard plastic. This is a softer plastic. This too. So there's that side. There's what it looks like on the back. Another sticker right there. At least I think that's what it is. Pretty sure that's what it is. And then here's a view of the other side, and then a view of it from the front. It does have some posts here on the foot, or some foot pegs on the pedals or foot rests. And then from the bottom, not really a whole lot going on. So it's a very nice looking vehicle. I think it's a little bit small, but I could be mistaken. Now, I will say this cloak is probably some of the best Hasbro has done in the Black Series. It's not perfect. It's really good for Hasbro though. So you got these cuts in the sleeves that go all the way up, just like Darth Maul did. You got the hood. It does lay pretty good, and it does have some stitching, I guess, where it is attached down, so it does make this. But in the package it got folded up like this, so I'm gonna have to maybe wet it, I'm not sure, and just kind of mold this a little bit better. But for the most part, I think this is a really good piece. So if you didn't get this piece, but you ordered the GameStop 3-pack with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, then this is probably the same cloak you're getting. Now, the big difference on this figure compared to those is he has cloth here rather than the plastic pieces sticking out. And, you know, I think it's, again, I think this is some of the best soft goods that Hasbro's ever done with Star Wars. Not just the Black Series, but Star Wars in general. So let me see if I can get this off, and I'll do that off camera. Alright, got that all removed. Had to do some other stuff to it. It seemed like his belt was on backwards, so I had to readjust it and this lower skirt, and I may even have to pop him apart to fix it all together, because the lower cloak piece here feels just out of place a little bit. So let's take a look at the figure real quick. And I think they did a superb job on this head sculpt, the look on his face, and the paint apps. They're just incredible. And then I think they did a good job on this new mold, definitely on the lower leg part. And he's got butterfly now. So not a whole lot of paint apps going on past the head. It looks like everything is molded in black plastic or made in black cloth. And just again, that head is, I mean, wow, it's fantastic. Now let's take a look at his articulation real quick. The neck is a separate piece from the torso and the head, and it's got a dumbbell at the bottom and dumbbell at the top. So it allows him to look up that high. He looks down that low. He's got chicken neck. He's got waggle. He can do the full exorcist. As I mentioned before, here in the shoulders, he now has some butterfly joint. So it goes back that far. It goes forward that far. And 360 degrees worth of rotation. Not really any up and down. His arm can come out to, we'll call that 90 degrees. And then single hinge and swivel at the elbow. Swivels around 360 degrees and gives you that much bend. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist on an up and down hinge. And this side is an up and down hinge as well. Ball joint at the waist. Gives him all kinds of hula motion. Spin around 360 degrees. He can bend back that far and forward that far. And of course lean left and right. At the hips, no pull down joint, but I really wasn't expecting it. But wow, he can give you the full splits. No plus, but the full splits. So that's great for Black Series. Kicks forward that far, which is really great as well. And back, not so great. Not quite a full foot length. So, let's see. There's a cut here at the upper thigh. And it's hard, but it will give you a full 360 degrees of rotation. Single hinge and swivel at the knee, swivels around 360 degrees and gives you better than a 90-degree bend. Then at the foot, at the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up that far, so that's not bad. And then forward facing pin for rocker. And that, my friends, is a look at the figure, the vehicle, and the accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Star Wars The Black Series Darth Maul and Sith Speeder 2-pack with Star Wars The Black Series A New Hope Luke Skywalker and Land Speeder 2-pack, and Star Wars The Black Series Return of the Jedi Scout Trooper and Speeder Bike 2-pack. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Star Wars The Black Series, The Phantom Menace, Darth Maul and Sith Speeder, with, from the Marvel Legends series, making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee, from the G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander, from Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper, and for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Star Wars The Black Series Darth Maul and Sith Speeder pack, I have to say, I do feel like the speeder is just slightly undersized. It's not horribly so, not unusably so, but just slightly. I would have liked just a tad bit more bulk to it. Maybe on the underside and the back, the leg pieces and handlebars seem to be about where, you know, what they should be. Maybe a little bit taller. You know, so I can't exactly remember, but it just seems like it should be just slightly larger. For the Sith probe droid and the stand, and just the accessories in general. Now you guys have to go back to 99 when the episode 1 merchandise, the 3 3/4 stuff, was first being released. And some of this could have carried over into 2000. But in 99, you know, the packaging that this figure comes in, it's really reminiscent of that, but I don't think it's exact to that. But I think it's really close. At least as far as memory serves, and that could be inaccurate. But so the packaging, you know, it is really retro feeling. It really gives me that episode 1 feeling, even though I don't think Darth Maul's head was on that pack. Is it on this packaging? Let me look real quick. Yeah, it is. And I think maybe it was in that red. I don't think initially, like for the original release in 99 was the preview release, I guess, was the Battle Droid and Stap, and it had kind of those flashing stripe coming out from Star Wars, and it said episode 1 on it. And I don't think it had Darth Maul's head, and I think it was a different color scheme. I want to say it was like red and green, maybe more Christmassy looking. And then I want to say they changed that to the red stripes with the black background by the time Episode 1 merchandise, the general merchandise, released. And I don't think they had Darth Maul's head on that, but I could be mistaken. But I do distinctly remember like the black background with the red stripes shooting out from the center, and then the Star Wars logo. It said Episode 1 or the Phantom Menace on it. And I think it just said Episode 1. But you know, I'm getting away from the point I was trying to make. So one of the, you know, we had an individual Darth Maul single carded release. There was also a 2-pack like this one with the Sith speeder that had more soft goods to it. I don't think the first one, the carded release had any soft goods to it at all. And so soft goods on that character. I could be mistaken about that, but I don't think so. And then it did come with some Sith probe droids, but it had a gimmick to it where the back opened up and the Sith probe droid shot out as a missile out of the back of the speeder. And then there was an accessory pack that was sold. It may have been in 99, it may have been in 2000, but it was still part of that initial Episode 1 run where you got a Sith probe droid and it had a little sand Tatooine base on it and a clear post. And you got that, and you got another cloak for Darth Maul, and you got the wrist control for the probe droids, and you got the binoculars as well. And so, you know, they had back then accessory packs were still a thing, and they didn't necessarily come bundled with a figure either back then. So Hasbro, let's kind of look back at that and see if, you know, maybe that's a fit for, say, I don't know, G.I. Joe. But, you know, that's another thing altogether. But as far as this one goes, it really does bring back those nostalgic feelings of 99. And, you know, of that 2-pack. And even later, when Hasbro was still doing 12-inch figures, they did a 12-inch version of this that was Darth Maul and the Sith speeder in 1/6 scale. And that probably still didn't come out right. But as far as the figure with this one goes, I mean, the vehicle, like I said, is a little bit undersized. I do like the attention to detail they spent on the probe. I do think it's a really nice looking piece and appropriate for this set. And then there's the Darth Maul himself. Now, I had a little bit of issue with mine. His belt was on backwards, and there's actually a space in it to where it pins through where the buckle is on the front. It pins through the soft goods lower tunic to pin it into place, and it's supposed to be glued in there. It's not. So I had some issues with that. As far as the soft goods themselves on this figure, I think they're getting better, and this is probably one of, if not the best uses of soft goods that the Black Series has done to date, at least in my opinion. Now, I will say, like, I think the material that they used may have been a little thin in some parts of it. In some parts of it, it's appropriate to where it's supposed to be. And I will say they did stitch down the hood so that it would sit like it's supposed to. Although I will tell you this, I did bust one of those stitches out when I was either putting on or pulling off his outer robe there for the review. And I want to say it's when was putting it back on. But you can most likely avoid that issue if you pop his head off before you try to remove the cloak. And so, but it still sits fairly well the way I've got it sitting. However, I will say this. As good as this is for Hasbro and for the Black Series, I really think they should have, with this being an exclusive, gone the extra mile and went ahead and put wire in, not maybe all of it, but at least some of it, so that you could make the robe flow behind him as the speeder was going along. And, or to at least give it that illusion. You can't really do that with this, you know, the way that it comes. And with this being an exclusive, I really wish they'd have went that little bit of extra and put a little bit of wire in it, maybe around the bottom of the cloak and in, you know, the sleeves or part of the sleeves, or, you know, what have you. Just enough to give it that illusion of it flowing as the speeder's moving along, it being wind whipped and whatnot. The figure itself, again, you know, it's new sculpt and it looks fantastic. And I think it has all the right articulation. I would have liked to seen the butterfly joint in the shoulder have a little bit more forward range of motion, but it's still good like it is. He does the full splits, not something you commonly get with most Black Series figures. The lightsaber, I think, is the same one that we've been getting probably since the first release. Maybe not, but, you know, it kind of feels like, oh, what else can you do with his lightsaber, you know? And especially with it going back to those really thin pins on the blade, and I really do not like those. They will break over time. They will. If you put those blades in and out a lot, or if you display your figures on a shelf without a stand, it falls over onto the lightsaber blade. You know, it's wear and tear. Eventually, it's gonna tear. So there is that. And overall, I have to say, I really like this. If you got this and you don't need the Qui-Gon and the Obi-Wan, then the GameStop 3-pack can be a pass for you. They do have now a single carded release of this figure. The only difference is that it doesn't have the lower tunic soft goods. They're soft plastic. And I want to say it's the same for the 3-pack. So if you want one that has the lower soft goods, then this is the only one currently that really does that. So there is that. But I don't know. I was thinking, I've already got the 3-pack on order because I do need the Qui-Gon, the Obi-Wan, and then that gives me another version of this Darth Maul that I can use doing, you know, whatever. And I'm actually seriously contemplating getting the single release as well, so that I can give him his, you know, Tatooine look with just the one blade on the lightsaber ignited. So I may do that as well. And this one is just going to stay, no matter what I do, this one's going to stay here on his Sith speeder. Or Bloodfin. I think some people have said it's called the Bloodfin. I'm not sure. I just always referred to it and heard it referred to as the Sith speeder. Just like his ship is the Sith infiltrator. At least that's how it was always presented that I remember. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.